First thing I always do is draw a picture. By drawing a picture, it will help me visualize which angles I need to find and in the order. This tells me to find C because it's the biggest. So you write it out. I told you you don't have to memorize this, right?
I won't bother studying for it then.
A is what, 7 squared? 12 squared.
See, this is the one where you get the negative value.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah, I know.
So you start filling in the blanks. Remember, take care of your squared stuff first. So you're going to get 225 equals, I'm going to add 49 and 144, and you, what is it? 193, thank you. And then I subtract that from, let's see, 24 times 7.
I want to see if you can do it.
Ends in an 8 to 98.
168.
168 was close. Oh, I forgot to multiply that over, yeah. So now, think of it again as a multi-step equation. You have to move everything that doesn't have the variable next to it first. What do you move first? The 193. So moving the 193 over, we're going to get, was it 32, I believe? And then you get that. It's negative 168 times the cosine of C. So how do you undo the multiply? You divide it. And now you're at a point where you really need to make sure you have your calculator. So we have 32 divided by negative 168, and you get negative 0.19 change. I leave that in the calculator like it is because I can hit inverse cosine of my answer. Inverse cosine of my answer. I hit enter. And I have an angle measurement then that's 100.98 degrees. Okay. That's where I get that from. Okay. The cosine of an angle that is obtuse will always be negative. And that's why this happens. So now you have angle C. That gives you angle C. You circle it, very good. And then you circle it. Little trick. Which angle? That too. Which angle and angle do you think would be the easiest one next to find? B. To be honest with you, I usually go in, when I have angles, I usually go in, if I have to find them from, if I start with cosine, I have to find the angle. I usually find the next largest angle. This case, okay, and this is the Algebra 2 teacher and me telling you, you would not need to worry about it at all because your first angle is obtuse. There's no way you can make a secondary triangle. But for instance, if it was an acute angle, you'd have to double check something, which means that I would say find the next largest angle. So whenever you're using law of cosines and you have to find angles, make sure the next angle that you find is also the next largest. For you guys, it's going to be okay, but just remember that for next year. It'll help you because you're going to forget. But at least I can say, well, I told them. So I'm going to use and find B. And I'm going to use law of sines. So I start over. The sine then of 100.98 is 215, as the sine of B is 212. And when we did this problem yesterday in the day, or 2 days ago, when you find the angle for sine, what's that? Not in this case. Because this case, since we have a denominator, since I'm finding the angle, all I have to do is move the 12.
Yeah, no, I meant like, because when you're finding the side, the 12 is usually on the top. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, if you have to find the side, then it's
Yeah,
flip-flop.
all you do is the 12 side over the
Yep, so then you would put in, you'd write down 12 sine 100.98 over 15. Okay? All you have to do is just move the 12 up, because remember, this is just something divided by 12. Well, how do you undo divide? You multiply. So that's why you just put it up on the numerator. Remember, please, 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 write down what you're going to do. One of the reasons why I want to make sure you do that when you're mixing up between sines and cosines is because it's so easy that you just use cosine, you might accidentally hit cosine. But if you read it as you're typing it in, you're going to see the letters S-I-N go, oh, and you're going to remember to hit that button. So let's see, make a fraction. 12 sine 100 over 15. Crummy decimal. How do you find the answer from the crummy decimal? It's not cosine, it's second sine. It's not a 9 Inch Nails song, come on. 9 Inch Nails, a song called Sin, Howard #2 album. Wrote Pretty Hate Machine, 1989.
I'm surprised.
No one listens to 9 Inch Nails anymore.
You know all of that.
You've never heard of them?
And you get 51.75.
Wait, so how do we find it?
You have two angles?
Yeah, so you just subtract 180 minus,
Yep. What's nice then, once you have two angles, the third angle is super easy to find. You just subtract out from 180. So your next angle was B. I forgot what it was, sorry. It was 51.75. Then you just go to the idea that there is 180 degrees in a triangle. Subtract it through. Bada bing, bada boom. Excellent. Most excellent. Okay. All right, let's try one more together. What was the other one you guys had to do? Just 5 on that side and then
1, 2, and 4.
on the other side. Okay, let's all work together then and set up 3 on the other side. I'm going to add to this tonight. We're going to put 4 more together where you're going to solve everything, and then we'll collect extra.
Solve everything. Like all the angles for you?
That would be all of them, yes. So let's look at number 3 on that back side there. This is, it's on the practice side. And obviously, the first thing we do is draw it.
Should I put this on the homework thing?
It doesn't matter, wherever you want to. I'm just doing another example. I'm going to walk through the entire process again together with you guys.
So I don't need to.
What's that?
So I can just watch.
What do you think? Well, look what you have. Look what you have. You have a side angle side setup, don't you?
So you have to
So I can't find anything with C. So what is this forcing me to find? B. It's forcing me to find B because I have little c, I have little c, little a, and I have the angle B. So if you look at it when you draw it out, okay, what don't you have and what can you get? Well, I know that I have angle B, which means I can find little b. Because if I go the other direction, if I try to do law of sines, if I do law of sines with B and with C, I'd have 2 variables, and I can't solve for 2 variables at the same time. I can only solve for 1. So that's why it forces you to use cosines in this case. So we go find little b. And remember, when you're trying to find the side lengths using law of cosines, this is the nice one. This is the easier of the two. It's basically plug and chug and hit a button.
then
So you get b squared is 42
Square plus 60. Minus.
and just make sure that you always write down what you're doing before you do it so you can see what to put in the calculator. So we get 42. So let's see, we have 42 squared, 60 squared, excuse me, minus 2, 42, 60, and then a cosine 58. Yeah,
Can you move the calculator for a second?
sure.
Just for the side of like. Okay, so remember B equals 8?
Big B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't touch that at all.
No. No, because we're given it. So when you think about it, if you're given an angle, it's going to help you find its side opposite. That's what cosines does. You can find if you're given an angle, you can find its opposite, or if you're given its opposite, you can find the angle.
So if we're given big B, we put that after cosine, and then if we're given little b, we put that, and then we make the cosine,
Right.
and then we have to use the cosine.
Yes. It's the same basic idea. Whenever you're trying to find an angle, you're going to use the inverse. Whether it's a big B, little b, or big B, big A, or big C, it just depends on what you know, and that always comes back from the drawing. Yeah, go ahead.
Why'd you put 58?
That's the angle. The angle was 58 degrees. It was right here. Sorry, I don't know if I. It was given.
Oh.
Yes. You got domain error. What'd you type? Let me see what you type.
Yeah,
Why are you doing law signs?
oh,
Okay. When you did this, you have to put a cosine at the end. Yes, sir. We don't talk about where the song comes from. Yes, sir. Calculator's being a goof. What are you typing in, sir?
Check out my YouTube channel, mobile.
Stop. I cannot put that on screen.
You're in reading.
Again.
Read, and then read it.
I'll read
Yes, sir.
So, I don't know how to sing this song, but I just realized.
And then how do you find the side length if you know that that's what it is squared? What do you do to it?
Second.
Very good. Very good. Second square root of your answer, and then enter. There's your little b.
Okay, look at the main error.
What'd you type?
Okay, I put it out.
What do you know?
You just said it.
Oh, you're not trying to find the cosine. Take the square root.
I said Michaela just got the main error.
Okay, so you remember this equals b squared equals the b
I
squared.
didn't realize
So
that
you're here. Square root.
hers is mine.
Yeah, remember, you're not trying to find the angle here, you're finding the side length, okay? So that gives you your side length of B. Yes. It was online too. Do you need a copy? Okay. So now that gives you the value of the side across from B. So once you know that you have a side opposite an angle, so let's be 51.9. After you round it out to two decimal places, 896 goes to 90. Sir?
So in this case, you don't have to.
I didn't hear you, what?
In this case, you have to. 1.9.
Yep. Yep.
You're not.
No, there's really no benefit to reusing law of cosine more than once because it's always quicker. Once you have that, it's always easier to switch to law of sines because it's just a quick cross multiply, especially because you're finding an angle. So what I would do here is I would switch now to law of sines, and what angle do you think I would suggest finding first? C. I would suggest, I mean, you're not going to be wrong if you go with A, but the problem that could occur, you could get something weird because this is acute. I don't want to get into it. So I'd say the sine of what is this, 58 is to 51 and change, is the sine of C is to 60. So when you're using law of sines then, when you're finding the angle, it works out to be one step to move the denominator. And this is going to equal the sine of C. And this is where most of you guys will make a mistake. You won't write all of this out. And when you take the inverse, you'll use cosine by mistake because you just used it. Okay? So make your fraction bar. Was it 51.9? That decimal equals the sine of something. Inverse it. And there's your secondary angle. No, because what you're finding here is the angle. There's no square rooting here at all. So, and that's the idea by continually writing out where you're at. You'll know that when you use law of cosines to find the side, that's the only time you take a square root. Law of sines, there's no roots in there at all. So what do we got? 78/64. And then how many degrees are left to find angle A? All you have to do is subtract it out.
I got like 40 degrees on the
What's that? That's the downfall of law. Guys, this is a great question. The downfall of law of sines, law of cosines, when you're solving for everything out, it is really hard to double check to see if you're close. Really, the only thing that you could feasibly do is check and see if the largest angle is across from the largest side and shortest and stuff like that. There's nothing that you can go back and use the Pythagorean theorem to double check yourself. It's one of those things you kind of have to hope for the best. Yeah. What do you got, Chanel?
Well, it's because I found angle A first.
Okay, now if you found angle A first, what did you get for C?
78.66.
Okay. And that's the thing. It's just a little bit of rounding error here or there.
Still right.
It's still right, but that's what can happen. Try to always, whenever you're trying to find angles, always start with the biggest one that you have as you're working your way through. Okay. And you're off. I mean, it's gonna happen.
Wait, how do you know if C is going to be the bigger one? Wait, C is 6. Oh, okay. I didn't.
That's how. Okay. Well, what'd you get for A then?
43.34.
43.34. So I would probably get 43.36. I bet. Okay. That's how this stuff works, guys. You're going to use the law of cosines once, switch to the law of sines, and then more often than not, all that's left is to subtract from 180 degrees to get your third thing. So basically, in order to solve the triangles for all three parts, you're doing two things, really, okay? So what I want you to do, and I'm going to give time now so I can walk around and help you guys out, is on the worksheet itself, do two, on the back side, so it's the practice side, I believe it says? Yeah, just add to what you have now. I'll collect it tomorrow. What I want you to do with this, is draw the picture, label it out, and do the work on a separate sheet. There's no room to do any of this on one, okay? And go from there. All right? Yes, sir. All right. And if you give me a second, I'll throw. So if you don't have a sheet on you, guys, if you don't have the sheet on you, there's the problems themselves. You go from there. You guys, come here, come here.
I'm so surprised I'm here.
Good, good, because there's bonus things going into this stuff. Good. What's up, Troy?
So I have this.
Yeah, we forgot that you were here. No, not really.
Yeah, Tori, nobody cares about you.
It's true. It's kind of like that we don't care about her either.
Yeah, just like somebody was saying to me, that I was saying that nobody cared about what you were learning yesterday when that's not who I was talking to.
My phone vibrated and I said, oh my god, I texted and I said, nobody cares.
And I said a little louder and this one. And then Nigel goes, Riley really just say that? I'm like, I don't even know what we're talking about right now, but.
Wait, Ronnie, what was that?
Wow. Anyway, so I feel dumber for knowing all of this, but what's up?
No, it's what you said
Really-
yesterday, like,
really
did
what
Riley
it is.
really just say that?
Law science isn't terrible. It's quick process. What we did then is just add in this stuff where you don't have.
Can you go up here and sound like shouting across the room?
How about just worry about your stuff and talk to them later?
Yeah, true, even though it's already happened.
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Sit down.
I'll tell you.
All you're doing really is drawing your stuff out. And if you don't, like on that first one,
You know what, she just started probably knows.
and that first one, you don't have any angles. You're just given sides. You need to find one of the angles to start. So in order to find an angle to start. Ladies and gentlemen, you should be quiet and working. If you have a question, raise your hand. I will wander about. So what you do is you always try to find the biggest angle first. The biggest angle will always be across from. Where's the biggest angles across from the hypotenuse? No, this is not right triangles. It's across from the.
Just give her the answer.
No.
What am I supposed to say? Am I supposed to
Biggest
say
angles across from where?
the
Largest side.
And that's what you're looking for. Okay, we go from there. We'll move past this.
So do I still take the test?
Probably, it might. I would try your best so that way you don't have to worry about forgetting everything.